Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football, episode number 39 of the podcast. I'm joined alongside first of all, I'm Ryan Fitzsimons. I never say that. I'm joined alongside...
Everyone knows who you are though, it's fine.
Oh, don't give me a big head like that. I mean, big head, beardless head.
Yeah.
Paul the Trim. Mate, it's just gone. I just feel naked. Horrible. Good weekend.
You've gone with the fleece again?
Aye, it's cold. It's nice. I just kind of take it off, mate. It's like I'm going to be wearing this.
I had a good weekend.
I think I'll be wearing this every podcast at the end of time now. It's just,
you have a nice weekend?
Aye, alright, couple of bevies.
Few beers, right?
I enjoyed it. And now we pay the consequences.
Yeah, off until Christmas.
Missed the game yesterday and everything. But I've caught up, don't worry, we're not here to talk absolute nonsense. We've kind of got ourselves a wee bit of a plan. But I'm kind of incorporating two videos into one here. So we normally go in, we jump right away with the Scottish Premiership, we jump right into talking about Celtic and Rangers with the state they're in. And of course, if you're watching this on the Ryan 118 channel, the first part of this, hello, welcome. Subscribe to Talk Scottish Football. Subscribe to Buick 22. David, I'm going to jump right in, and we're going to go here because we were both hungover as anything yesterday, and we missed the majority of football being played. Let's talk about this. We Daily Express number for you. Right, I want to hear you out here. Lenny. Personal attacks will never get to me. Neil Lennon insists he's too long in the tooth to worry about personal criticism as he hailed his Celtic side for responding to a massive dose of flack. The boys' boss and his team reacted positively to the Europa League humiliation at the hands of Sparta Prague to emphatically sink Motherwell at Fir Park. What are you thinking about?
A personal attack's not why he left in the first place.
Well, was that why he left in the first place? His time was just up, you know, he'd done his business. He had 3 successful seasons at the club, winning 3 league titles, and he left, went down south, fell apart at Bolton a bit. He obviously came back up to Scotland on a job with Hibs. Personal attacks may have been why he left Hibs. And now
personal attacks he was giving out when he was at Hibs.
So, you know, we find ourselves now, Neil Lennon has responded. So let's start with Motherwell and Celtic. Is it paper over the cracks? Mm-hmm. Are you just going to stick to that forever? Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting my opinion yet. I just want to hear
you agree with me? Yeah. That result changes nothing because I said 3-0 all week and it was 4-1. So yeah, typical. It's exactly what we've been saying for months. Lennon's whole philosophy, if you could even use that word, is relying on the big players to step up and win him games. And El Yunusi did that. Rogic did that again. They won the game comfortably. Still, defensive frailties were on show. Heard a lot of Celtic fans saying a better team would have punished them. Motherwell had a number of openings without end product. So yeah, listen, I don't think it changes anything.
One thing Stephen Robinson came out and said was the result flattered Celtic. He doesn't think they deserved the battering that they got in terms of the scoreline, and that's fair. One interesting point I heard from Neil Lennon was saying, you know, so we've seen Duffy fall out the team. Finally, rejoice! Duffy is dropped.
I love how he put him back in for the last time. It's just so he didn't have to pay that non-appearance fee for.
Just
chucked him for 10
minutes,
save some money. But
the whole thing was he said Duffy needed a rest. That was the reason that he didn't start the game. For me, that disguises the criticism. He's just trying to hide away from being brutally honest that Shane Duffy has simply not been good enough and looks as though he will not be good enough for the rest of the season. Is it worrying to see Neil Lennon just come out and say, oh, it's only a rest? Do you think he should?
Managers have been doing that for years though. They just never use the phrase dropped. They're always resting players. It's just nonsense. I think everyone knows that Duffy didn't play because he wasn't. I mean, Ayer's just back from injury, so if you're worried about one of their fitnesses, you wouldn't. You'd play Duffy ahead of Ayer if it was just a fitness issue. So
it's good to see Ayer back though, and you can see the difference with an actual player who is confident in himself.
Issues were still there without Duffy though. I mean, Duffy's not the sole source of them. He's just the main source.
The leak in the back line is just going to be consistently there until something changes within the coaching. To be able to, you know,
there's so many still images of like the past few games where you've got like 6 Celtic players occupying one space,
small area,
and there's like just so much space everywhere for players on the edge of the box and stuff. It's just basic stuff they're just getting wrong continuously.
The last thing I would like to talk about in terms of the Express is covering and what the papers are covering, and a lot of the talk has been this week. Did Jock Stein die for that hat trick?
Oh my god.
On the bench, I was surprised to see him in the starting lineup because you seen what Lennon said after the game. He said, "Did you see El Yunusi on your phone?" He said, "They better not have been." I was like, "Oh god, El Yunusi would drop next game."
Lennon can't drop him because El Yunusi's a foreign man, and Lennon's relying on the foreign players to keep him in a job.
Yep.
He could not have dropped El Yunusi. El Yunusi, fair play to him. Slow start to the season. A lot of people question maybe what does he actually bring. A few people were saying, in the last 3-4 weeks he's shown his class.
Brilliant player, and that's when you get players hitting those high notes consistently and you get them playing their best and you've got them playing in their roles, it is going to benefit Neil Lennon a lot more. But I'm not going to change my tune. I'm not suddenly picking up the fiddle of everything's okay. I still think that we're looking at a long-term recovery for Celtic, and this one game doesn't spell anything. The international breaks came up now. Celtic will go into it knowing what has to be improved on, what has to be done over the next 2 weeks. Am I confident that we're going to come back and look any better than the mistakes and such we've seen? No, I still think we're going to struggle. Neil Lennon, in terms of me changing my mind on whether he's the right man of the job, has got a long way to go. And I said it on Twitter, look, don't be shocked if come the end of the season I'm putting up a tweet saying God bless Neil Francis Lennon, I love you, blah blah blah. If he turns us around and wins the league title, great. I still don't think he's the man to take us forward.
That's what I'm saying. I've said this to you so many times. It doesn't matter if he wins the league or not. Won't change my opinion.
Rangers. There's the headline.
You'd hate to be a bit of a chipper, wouldn't you?
8-0. Not that part, Not that part. 8-0. Ruthless and relentless. Gerrard won't allow the Rangers to ease up at the top of the table. He's held the squad 8-0. 8-0. 8 grand.
One of the most telling things I think from that game was just looking through Twitter as the game was going on. Most Rangers fans are pleased with the fact that Gerrard seemed to be continuing to tell them to keep the tempo, lift the tempo, to push even more. And that's after Rangers made a fair few changes at the weekend. They hooked Barisic at half time, Ryan Jack at half time. They just strolled it. Hamilton are useless. They're absolutely dreadful.
Just look at the goals that flying in. You've got Ruth scoring 2, you've got Arfield scoring, you've got Tavernier scoring, you've got Brandon Barker scoring. Good
week to have Tavernier as captain in the fantasy football.
Aye, but it's unbelievable. This is a team right now who the bookies will quite rightfully be calling the favourites for the title. Celtic will not match that this season. There will not be an 8-0 victory for Celtic this season.
That sort of victory has been coming for Rangers. I think I said it in the last show. I expected them to win 2, maybe 3-0, but I also said it could be the weekend that they finally find their groove in terms of goals. It has been coming because Rangers did this a lot last year where they would smash teams. I remember them smashing like Aberdeen at home and stuff. Yep. And it was just absolutely comfortable. In a 4-minute period, the game was gone. I think Brian Rice said that they started the game well. First 15 minutes, Hamilton, which is the same as they did up at Pittodrie, same as they did against Hibs, and they just capitulate in such a short period of time. And Rangers are never going to let you away with that.
Before we talk about the rest of the Premiership, I'm going to move off the papers with one of the best parts. And I know I've brought this into Talk Scottish Football for a one-time thing, but this is always fun. So the quote of the day in the hotline for the fans who write in, let me know your responses to this. I'll give you a couple of them, and I'll give you. So the quote of the day is: Rangers fans not only want Lennon to stay as Celtic's manager, but they want him on a new 10-year deal. Could you imagine that? Imagine we just dealt with having Lennon until he decided to retire.
I don't think there's a Rangers fan that wouldn't be gutted if Neil Lennon.
Oh my goodness! You've got, Hoop supporters might be hiding under the duvet right now, while some reckon the protest was the work of an undercover Rangers supporter. Lennon eased some of the pressure with a win at Motherwell with Shane Duffy, Edouard and Barkas all on the bench.
I really don't think he did ease the pressure.
No, think so?
No, I don't think so. I'd be surprised if there's any Celtic fans that have changed their tune from Thursday night.
I've had a few people comment.
This is part of the issue.
Do you know what I loved actually? I loved this. I had a dinosaur comment on my video yesterday, and this relates to us. He put us all under an umbrella, everybody in YouTube, and it says, I was talking to the guy who runs our supporters bus. I think he must be about 60-year-old or something like that. I was talking to the guy who runs the supporters bus, and every one of these people, including CJ Novo, including Sharp Div, including yourself, should be absolutely ashamed of what you do. You don't know what you are talking about. Get behind your manager. You would never get this 30 years ago. What a pile of nonsense, funny. Man. Honestly, you've got to open your eyes to things, man. If you can sit down and be happy after that 4-1 battering during the week, and just say everything's right and rosy after beating Motherwell, I don't know where to begin. I just honestly do not know where to begin. It's crazy, but that's what the papers are saying. Celtic and Rangers. Is it going to be a tight one still, do you think? Or right now are you favouring Rangers to go?
Listen, it's going to be, I think it'll be...
Because we're at a point now we've entered, the third international break of the season. It's always a good indication.
It'll be close. I still think it won't be... no team will win it by more than 7 points, I don't think. I think it'll be reasonably close. I think if Celtic win it, it'll be closer.
How big?
I don't see Celtic winning it by a big margin.
So obviously Rangers have ended this part of the season, going into this international break on the highest that they could. An 8-0 win. It's arguably going to be the biggest result of the season in terms of scoring goals. Rangers have Aberdeen in their next game. Celtic have Hibs in their next game.
Hibs at Easter Road, isn't it?
Yeah, Easter Road, Ibrox for Rangers. I don't see that team slowing down. I could see them scoring 4 or 5.
And the recent record against Aberdeen at Ibrox is fantastic anyway. So, it's. How can you find an argument for saying Aberdeen are going to take something?
And I said at the start of this, off the cuff, Paper over the cracks. That is what that result is for me at the moment. Look, if Neil Lennon can consistently do this, fine, I will start to change my tune a wee bit. I'll start to be more positive. I'll start looking at Lennon saying maybe he's gathering things right. But that's what we all thought about last Sunday against Aberdeen, and then that happened. So what's telling me, what my head's telling me at the moment is very easy for Celtic to come now back from this international break, go to Hibs, have a shocker, go to Europe, have a shocker, and this 4-1 against Motherwell means nothing. And I don't want to be the pessimistic fan. I don't want people thinking that that's me turning my back on Lennon completely and I just want to see the team lose. That is not the case. I said this the other day, you could tell me Mauricio Pochettino could come Celtic manager if Celtic lost to Motherwell at the weekend. I wouldn't want us to lose the game. I wouldn't. I'd never in a million years I want to see the team lose their 3 points. But it's just, I don't even, as I said, don't know where to begin. There's so much.
Yeah.
Rangers on the other hand, what a time to be a Rangers fan this season.
Flying, they're absolutely flying. And there is no logical reason to say that Aberdeen will go and get something in that game. I know Aberdeen have improved, but you're really clutching at straws. I mean, listen, they absolutely could do, because for all, Rangers have been great this season. You know, they still slipped up at Livy. Did they slip up somewhere else? Or
no, they've only dropped 2 points all season.
So,
I mean,
last season's evidence is that they slipped up a few times,
but that's something that they've picked up on.
And these, another thing with Rangers is they always pick up in the big games, and Aberdeen is a big game.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll come to that at the tail end of the international break. But yeah,
talking about Aberdeen, a big result.
Massive one.
That's 2 wins over Hibs.
I mean, I think that's them nailed third place for me.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is that your big claim now?
Yeah, I mean, I said it after the first game against Hibs that I thought they'd go, but now I can't see them past Aberdeen, because they've just got that know-how, and
they're playing. Aberdeen have been better than Celtic in the league this season. I know the league table might not show it because we are second, but they have been far better to watch. They've been technically a lot better. I think they've actually got a plan. McInnes rallied round. You look at how both teams have dealt with an issue. You look at how Celtic have dealt with their issues. You look at how Aberdeen dealt with their issues at the start of the season. Aberdeen, you'd think, have been, an unbeaten Premiership winning side.
Yeah, they were in so much trouble after that.
The Boozegate scandal.
Yeah, I mean, they bounced back. They quietly went about the business, got a few wins on the board, and they've just been flying really ever since. Tail of basically McInnes' Aberdeen, though. I mean, apart from, they get beat by Celtic, it's been the one thing that stopped them really pushing on. Because in the games, in the run-of-the-mill games, they've been very good for years now, and Hibs needed to get something. If Hibs had gone up to there and won at Pittodrie, that would have been a big statement.
I tell you, they have to go up there and get something.
And they didn't. So listen, Nisbet not really.
By all accounts, it wasn't a great game. They got 2 early goals. They
I think that suits Aberdeen, though.
Yeah, they didn't have the fair share of the ball. But they nulled out chances. They didn't allow Hibs to be as creative. They didn't allow players like Nisbet to get opportunities. And you know what? If they do it, I don't think it was a pretty win. I know 2-0 looks nice.
But if it was going to be a
15 minutes, they'd done
a free-flowing game, that would have suited Hibs. I think the fact that Aberdeen are so used to winning ugly. I know we've praised them for having that bit of creative flair this season, but they've still got that sort of core foundation of guys that can scrap through.
That mentality is still there.
And that is why I think they'll get third.
I don't think Hibs have. As much as I've backed Hibs for third, and I'm going to stick with Hibs for now. Yes, controversially, I'm sticking with Hibs for now. You will see over the course of the season when the going gets tough, and teams need to. Nice wee Billy Ocean number there. Yeah. When you see it, these games, Aberdeen are going to be far better holding out things than what Hibs are. I think Hibs are so easy at the back to kind of fall under the pressure and allow people to cave, allow themselves to cave, and allow people to come in and get goals. It might, by the end of the season, allow Aberdeen to go and secure that third place with a lot more ease. Right now, I'm going to stick with Hibs. I know it might sound daft after last.
They've definitely got the ability and the quality and the talent at the top end.
It was nice having the Friday night games,
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, I like the idea of, especially what it's done for
Scotland.
But I mean, the only ones that it's going to benefit are Shankland and Considine, who probably won't start anyway. Like McGregor and Jack were the ones that really could have done with the extra couple of days, and they didn't really get them. So one thing though, Gerrard did hook Jack at half time and said he was doing that because
he was looking for Scotland. And it was he not speaking about he done it for Stephen Davis for Northern Ireland. That's right.
Fair enough. It's easy when you're 4-0 up.
No, exactly. I mean, if it was 0-0 at half time, it'd be a bit different.
Yeah,
but they were big results. There was 2 big results. I got it right, mate. What did I say? St Johnstone 1, Kelly nil. I said it. Yeah. You kind of looked at me like, what?
I just couldn't see St Johnstone keep a clean sheet, which they managed to do.
I actually, do you know what? It was like I had a crystal ball in front of me. Everything I said on the show about that game happened. Every single thing.
Did Stevie May score?
And apart from Stevie May being the one that scored, I told you, St Johnstone would have their back against the wall. They would And it wasn't even like that because Kilmarnock never really had any threatening chances. But St John's would have been well set up. They would have made it such a dire game, and they would have got one lucky goal. I've not even seen the goal. I'm not going to lie and say if it's lucky or no, right? But they've done it. They went and got the 1-0. I just seen it. There was something in the back of my head telling me it's going to happen.
And I've been the big Callum Davidson supporter this season. I've been the one that's saying stick by me, he'll get things going. You were a bit more pessimistic.
I know I was a bit more pessimistic, but when you actually look at the league table, the expectations that he would have probably had coming in, he's probably following that quite well. He's sitting 8th in the table.
Bear in mind they've overachieved for the best part of 5-6 years.
They're not a Premiership.
They're not a top. Well, they're not a top 6 club, and they've got that God knows how many times. So.
But Callum Davidson has came in. They're 8th in the table. They've won 4 of their 13 games. That doesn't look great, but when you compare it with the teams who are around that area of the table, they're only 3 points behind Dundee United in 5th. They are still 7 points comfortably clear of the bottom of the league side, Hamilton.
Yeah.
Right now, I think if you were to offer any St Johnstone fan that under Tommy Wright or someone else, they would have took it. So right now, he is following that expectation, I think. And as a big result for him, Alex Dyer will be so disappointed because that is, they've come off that's 2 poor games in a row now. For
Kelly. Probably the good work they've done post their COVID struggles. Not been great.
And it will be disappointing for him, but for St Johnstone, it is absolutely massive.
Huge result, and I think that bottom 2 are going to kind of find themselves a bit isolated now. St Mirren, I suppose that's a good segue into that game. I fancied Saints, and by all accounts they had the chances to win it. Dundee United are in a bit of a tough spot just now.
It's weird because obviously they
won
done
last
last
week,
game.
Yeah.
Then they come into this draw 0-0 with a side whose form is.
I think it's the thing we said at the start of the season, because it's Dundee United. We expect them to be really up there. They're still sitting decent in the league, but they're just spluttering away just now. And I think they're struggling to find a formula that.
But do you know what's mad?
Consecutive wins.
I want to hit out with this. 14 games into the league season, right? We're 14 games, excluding Rangers, Celtic, Hibs, and Aberdeen. That top 4. Everybody else has got only 4 wins or less.
Yeah, it just shows how clogged up that space is.
4 wins or less.
That's one of the things we said in our season preview. We thought the top 4 would be pretty much nailed on, and then beyond that, you're looking at every team could finish in every position, really, bar maybe Hamilton getting top 6. But, I mean, listen,
it's not out the realms of possibility.
Well, I mean, it is, but you could have foreseen St Mirren pushing. It was talked about, and Ross County as well, teams like that. But yeah, I mean, I do think that you're going to have the sort of 5th down to 10th will be pretty much anyone's game. I do think St Mirren and Accies will be down the bottom though.
Shanklin's struggling.
He is struggling. Find it bizarre he's in the Scotland squad again. They're just persisting with him. I know he's got goals in him, but don't know why he wouldn't go with Kevin Nisbet. I mean, if you look at it this way, they've got Griffiths in the squad who 100% in my opinion is in there to be the sub player, the impact sub. You're not going to bring on Shanklin ahead of Griffiths. No. So I get that there's more games than just the playoff game, but if Dykes get injured, you're not bringing on Griffiths to replace Dykes. You're not bringing on Shanklin to replace Dykes. They're 2 different players. You bring on McBurney or Nisbet for me. They're a more natural replacement. So I find it a bit bizarre.
It is bizarre.
But yeah, he is struggling but he's still one of those though. I mean, if they do start creating loads of chances for him, you'll put them away. He's just they're not really doing that just now.
And finally, the last game in the Premiership this week, quite a stinker. Ollie Shaw scored again, but the Ollie Shaw fan club is up and running. That's a goal for him. A couple in his last few games. Ollie Shaw scored. Livingston only got one as well. A 1-1 draw. Pretty boring game. What else are they say? It's both teams are in a bit of a slump.
They'll be in that mire of 5th to 10th,
9th and 10th in the table respectively. Ross County have slipped big time from the start of the fad.
I think Livy are one of the teams that could get drawn into that relegation battle.
Think so?
I didn't think it at the start of the year, but they're really losing their.
It's another player who's came up. So we spoke about Shanklin coming up to the Premiership. Forrest hasn't done much.
He's not been great. I think we've probably all underestimated how big a loss Lawless and Dykes were.
They've not replaced it.
Yeah, but they couldn't replace them two for me.
Lawless last year was a team of the season player.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
And Dykes, we've seen how good Dykes is. So yeah, they're really struggling. They're losing their sort of basics of working hard and stuff. Gary Holt said that so many times. Their defensive play, their discipline in the field's not been good enough. So they're in a bit of a tough spot.
It's unbelievable when you look at how well Livingston have been in the last couple of years to see them struggling. But at the same time, I say it's unbelievable. It was always going to happen. There was always going to be a point for Livingston where this sort of collapse, it's a bit much, but it was always going to happen. They were always going to drop. You always seen it in there because it's typical when you get these clubs who come up, do really well, and it's the same in England as we know. You always get second season syndrome. Of course, this is now the 3rd season for Livingston, but there was only going to be so long. You see, it's happened over the last couple of years. So you had First of all, you had players like Kelly going to QPR, big part of that team as a goalkeeper. Menga was great in the first season, and then because
even
of work
go back to when they
permits,
lost Halkett and stuff as well.
Halkett going, Gallagher as well, of course, went to Motherwell. They've just been losing all these players, and yes, they have been trickling in players from around about different leagues and such, bringing them in.
But this is the season it seems like they're struggling to replace them for quality.
It was always going to happen. Anyway, that's the Premiership. As the table stands, Rangers still comfortable 9 clear of Celtic. Celtic with 2 games in hand over them. Aberdeen have taken 3rd place, and down at the bottom is Hamilton with now a minus 20 goal difference.
I'm so amazed that Brian Rice hasn't been sacked this morning.
I was actually what I was going to end the Premiership debate on, or the discussion on. Should Rice be gone?
Of course he should. I mean,
can he survive? I know it's Rangers. I know they're flying.
The really tough thing is
you talk about no sign of improvement with Celtic. No sign of improvement with Hamilton.
It's the same every time they get beat. They start well and they just capitulate once the first goal goes in. Hamilton fans were at New Douglas last night confronting Brian Rice outside. There's a wee bit of footage of that. He just sounds a beaten man. I hate this argument about Neil Lennon when people say, "Oh, who else would you get in?" I hate that argument with Celtic, but Hamilton I can kind of understand it, because who do you get in that's going to turn that ship around? Their squad is so comfortably the worst in the league, and I think their fans accept that, and Brian Rice himself probably accepts that. And now they've got injuries to Templeton. I can't remember who else is injured. I think Lewis Smith picked up an injury. There was somebody else, but anyway, they've got injuries to key players. I just don't know how they stay up this year. This is the year that I think they're finally doomed, because there's always something you can see. Like they've got a little bit of something, a bit of fight, a bit of determination. They've not got that this year. They're going down for me.
Scottish Championship. Let's start with a stinker in there. Ayr 0, Dunfermline 0. We watched it. I actually watched it. I watched the game. It wasn't the best viewing.
It was frustrating. A little bit frustrating. Dunfermline probably edged it, but real lack of end product. Didn't create enough at all. Ayr were poor, but they had a couple of moments in the game. Towards the end, they grew into it. But listen, Dunfermline did so well in terms of pressing Ayr, winning the ball back. They were so much more intense than that. Ayr couldn't get out of the half for long parts of the game, but just real lack of quality in the final third. Set pieces, especially a bit of free kicks, were just wasted. Corners were wasted, which is what we've been good at so far this season. I said it to you the whole way through. A point at Ayr is not a bad result, but in context of the game, it was a bit frustrating not to get all 3. But listen, 10 points from 12 from Dunfermline's great. Stevie Crawford and Ewan Murray have been manager and player of the month of the championship. They've won that award. So for Ayr at home, they would have wanted 3 points. I think Mark Carroll will be frustrated with what he's seen. But listen, Dunfermline are joint top of the table. We can't complain. But it wasn't a great game to watch.
No, it was not. I've seen better. But you know what? It was nice to get the commentary team at Ayr was brilliant.
The commentary was really good. Apart from that, though, the stream. This is really pissing me off, though. Like, I hate paying money for these streams and they just stop working. Like, I know clubs don't have the facilities and stuff, but if you're going to charge for a service, get it sorted. I mean, I watched the Dunfermline game here last week. The service was great. Like, the stream was great. Quality was great. Didn't drop once. Amazing. Kelly I've seen was great. A lot of the Premiership ones were good. And yes, I know clubs facilities and stuff, but it's so frustrating when you can't go to games and you're paying decent money to watch them and you can't even
10-20 minutes of the game you're sitting there on the couch having to watch a blank screen.
It's just so frustrating.
Painful.
Frustrating.
The other draw in the Championship was at Arbroath. Peter Grant's side, the 2 bottom of the table sides.
Peter Grant's side at Arbroath?
Sorry, I'm thinking Alloa. Sorry, Dick Campbell's side, Arbroath taking on Queen of the South. A 1-1 draw. Is the bottom 3 nailed on for you already? In the opening 3 games, Alloa, Queens and Arbroath, they look like they're going to struggle big time this season.
Yeah, Morton could be in there if they capitulate. But yeah, I think Arbroath are a bit of trouble this year. They don't really seem to have hit their stride yet.
And they've not had an easy start. They've had to play Hearts, they've had tough moments, and Queens was never going to be easy considering Queens have seen their start to the season and knew they had to respond with something, and they took the lead in this game. I think for me that's the bottom 3.
I still think Queens are doomed. I just think Arbroath could be in a bit of trouble as well. Alloa are the same every single year. They're going to be down the bottom. It's just, I think they probably will have enough. I think there's enough experienced players in there, like the Trout and Colley and that. They'll get through. Arbroath, I really fear for them this year, but Queens are honking, man. I'm telling you, they're doomed. The weekend I thought they were going to get the win, but Arbroath pegged them back. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it was an overly enthralling game either, but a point doesn't really do much for either side.
I said the last draw. There's actually another draw, but we'll come to that last because that could have been arguably the most entertaining game of the weekend in the Championship. We'll go over to the team who are tipped to win the title, Hearts. They got a big win over another team who will be up there challenging this season. An important
one. It wasn't a big win as such.
Well, it's their first big test of Championship this season.
Yeah, and they didn't pass it with flying colours.
And Naismith started the game for the first time this season. He got a goal. Boyce also got a goal. That's two of their key players scoring in a big game.
Part of me wonder if Naismith.
You still don't think it's that much of a positive sign, though? You were saying.
Well, listen, they have to win these games, but again, it's not. It wasn't as comfortable as people thought it was going to be. It's just what I think will happen to Hearts this season. Inverness got a goal back and pushed towards the end. It's a one goal away from a disaster for Hearts, and it's not going to be as comfortable for them this season as they think. And that's another example of it. As was Arbroath away. Why I think they will win the league is because they've got the ability to grind out these wins with the players they've got. Part of me wondered if Naismith was going to get the call up this morning for the Scotland squad with Fraser dropping out.
Aye.
Doesn't seem to have happened, but
I don't think Naismith would get back in. I think his Scotland days may be done.
Yeah, maybe.
I know I've always liked Naismith in the sense of the experience that he brings to Scotland.
I'm not saying I would do. I just I thought he might have done it.
I don't see him ever getting back in it now, unless he's firing on all cylinders in the Championship. I don't see why.
Like if he's not going to play against Serbia, then I wouldn't have him for the other two because that's not really going to help us going forward. But yeah, I mean the Hearts, good win, good to get boys in the goals again. Yeah, Inverness have got a young side, so I mean it'll be a learning experience for them. They've got so many players come back from injury, and once they do, they'll be up there for the playoffs. But
nice,
yeah,
nice. Rafe 5.
Wow, the Rovers are flying, man.
No.
I've
gave Rafe my team of the week on a couple of occasions now, and I may have to do it again for God's sake. 5-0, and I know Morton haven't exactly been strong in the sense of you don't look at them and go, that's a good team.
Well, they conceded 3 to 10 man air last week, so
they lose a man in this game as well. Obviously, they went down to 10. But Rafe are fine. They could genuinely push for something if they keep.
I think they'll be up there pushing for the playoffs this year. They'll have a sticky patch as a team that come up always do, but they've got just goal scorers all over the front line, and yeah, they're absolutely flying up near the top.
Is
of the team.
Frankie Missonda related to Charlie?
I've no idea, mate.
No clue, mate. I'm just having a wee look. Just a wee gander. I don't think he is.
Frankie Missonda's done more in Scottish football than Charlie
Missonda. Charlie Missonda's had one good moment in Scottish football.
It wasn't even in Scottish football. It was European football.
Europa League. Sorry. What a flop that was. But 5 goals. You can't argue it.
Yeah.
David Hopkin will be
a very angry man.
Raging.
He always looks like his head's going to explode anyway.
Yeah,
so
he always just looks so aggressive, man. But a big result for Rafe. And finally, the game of the weekend, the Championship. Alloa 3, Dundee 3. You keep saying that about Dundee.
Gosh, man. Telling you, they are gash. Like Dundee. How James McPake is still in the job, I've no idea. After the failure that was last season, nothing seems to have changed. Defence will be all over the place. Their goalies are terrible. Charlie Adams dragging them through just now. Alloa choked it. Alloa chucked it too. They were 3-1 up, and they absolutely chucked it towards the end.
Does that not give you a positive in terms of Dundee? A wee bit of character?
No, because we know they've got quality in there. It's just they're not harnessing it enough to challenge for a title.
They are.
Graham Dorrans left yesterday. He's been released. He's away to join a club overseas apparently. Everyone wondered how do you get McGowan, Dorrans and Adam on the same team. The answer is you don't, because Dorrans is away. But yeah.
And you spoke about me earlier, you touched on Troughton with 2 goals, big for Alloa.
Yeah.
But Dundee, they have got a lot to work out.
So foggy on Friday night in all them games, man. You couldn't see a thing.
So the St Mirren, fucking Lidl across the road, never mind anything else.
The St Mirren commentary team on the St Mirren TV said that the ball had hit off somebody, they didn't know who, and they didn't know if it had gone for a throw or a goal kick. They just had the whistle, they couldn't see a thing. It was just, dreadful.
League 1, and we thought there was going to be another very big result.
Super Joe with a goal against Falkirk. He enjoyed that one as well as I did.
We thought they were going to lose though. At first, when they went down 1-0, we had a wee giggle, a wee laugh, because automatically our show has become Let's Hate Partick Thistle. I
love that thing where it was like Biden 310, Trump 240, Partick Thistle 0.
But then we thought Partick were going to win the game.
Yeah, turned it round, and then
Falkirk scored in the last
Brian Graham,
of the game.
who is going to be the one man that keeps him going this year. He's got goals in him, experience at that level. And telling that Cardwell comes back into the team, they play with some wingers and he gets a goal, they look a little bit better going forward, but defensive frailties again. Falkirk management will be the happier of the two, I'd have thought. Away from home against Thistle, a point's not a bad result for them. But yeah, another tough afternoon for Thistle.
Montrose 3, Peterhead 2.
What a team, the Montrose, man.
I had Montrose in the Cooperman.
Every week,
it's a shame that I got let down.
What a job. Yeah, Peterhead, I've tipped them to struggle this year. Montrose, great result, they'll push for the playoffs. Business as usual for Montrose.
That's it. They're doing well this season.
Could they do what Brecon did a few years ago and push into the Championship to the playoffs? That would be remarkable.
I mean, if they'd done that,
I would love to see it.
You wouldn't want to collapse with Brecon afterwards, would you?
No,
that's the only thing. 2 straight relegations. Cove, they're keeping it up, mate. 3-0. I'm telling you, I say that as a joke in the first step after the first game, and then I said it more seriously the second time and the third time. Now I'm being serious. I genuinely think Cove could do it this year.
Yeah.
I know winning 3-0 against Forfar isn't exactly
But, I mean,
material.
no one else has beaten anyone else convincingly in that league, really. Like, Falkirk and Thistle aren't winning convincingly.
Cove have
weeks.
been perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. 4 games now.
They will definitely get the
conceded
playoffs.
1 goal.
Yeah, they'll
One
definitely
goal.
get the playoffs. Whether they win it or not is another matter. But
I don't think Falkirk or Partick, the two of our favourites, have shown any sort of signs.
The thing is with Cove, though, if they do get the playoffs, they're this sort of team that, like, you put Cove against an Alloa or an Arbroath or a Queen's, I'd fancy them to win it. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But a great start they've had to the season, as have teams like Edinburgh and Elgin, who will also be pushing up the top.
Yeah. East Fife 2, Dumbarton 1.
Yeah, East Fife are another team who will look to push mid-table for playoffs. I mean, that league is remarkable because
East Fife are another team that started decent enough.
There's so many teams who could finish in the playoffs at the top or get relegated. Like, they're all capable of putting runs together, and yeah, another good result for East Fife. And
then finally, my relegation candidates Airdrie with a 5-0 win over Clyde. I mean, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? Maybe I was a bit daft to tip them for relegation. I thought the collapse was coming this season.
There'll be another team again pushing for playoffs. What was it, Edinburgh and Elgin on the weekend?
Edinburgh Elgin.
Were they not playing on the weekend? No.
Edinburgh's in the other league, mate.
Oh,
they're in
so
League 2. Hasid's going.
Have you done 5 games or 4 here? I'm getting confused.
I've done 5. This is the 5th.
Right.
This is the 5th.
You know what? I hate not having my laptop in front of me. So
I know we must address the situation. David has misplaced his laptop charger. He thinks somebody's tanned it.
Can't get my laptop tonight.
Can't get it. 0%. Deed. As deed as Dunfermline's put up playoff hopes. Can't speak around that.
Just continue.
Just you stick to Specsavers
you just stick
and I'll
to
do the game.
The laptop charger and I'll do the game.
And finally, League 2 will battle through this.
Edinburgh Elgin.
Edinburgh Elgin. Hey. Let's see. Are you sure they weren't even playing?
No, that's what I was just going to say.
They weren't even playing, mate.
I know. I'm sorry. Why weren't they playing?
Because Edinburgh were playing Stennismuir and
So
Elgin were playing Queen's Park.
I know. I know they weren't playing each other because they played each other last week.
I thought that's what you meant.
No.
Right. I thought you were convinced that
because I know they played each other last week.
Okay. Well, Elgin went out of 10 men, lost 1-0 to Queen's Park.
Yeah. That was what I was talking about. Because Queen's Park I tipped early on to be up there. Didn't have a great start, but growing into it, that's a big win over.
Oh, it is massive win. Queen's Park once more, a team that I think they're right now looking like the. I don't want to say runaway train in the league, but
I mean, after the transfers they brought in the summer, they should definitely be up there.
And they just look good and grind out a result as well. 1-0, no bad. On the other side, Edinburgh losing 2-0 to Steny at Oakleview.
So a great weekend for Queen's Park. Very good weekend.
Very good weekend for Stennismuir. I don't think they would have expected much at the game.
But I said it last week. They've got a number of good players in that team. They just seem to kind of be struggling to. They should be up in League 1 for me. Steny.
Big Tiffany at right back. Good player. Wait, what? I just remember using them in an FM save or something back, so I thought I'd talk about.
And poor Brecon,
Poor Brecon. We thought they were back. We thought the departure of Mark Wilson would have been the start of something special. A 5-0 loss to Stirling.
They've rediscovered themselves. Stirling, who have had a decent start to the season, another team who could push for playoffs.
Brecon's gone down.
Poor old Brecon.
Do you think they're gone down?
Yeah, I've still got a little bit of faith that they'll turn it around.
You just want them to turn it around so you can go to the Grund, man.
Yeah, I know.
You can still go when they're in the Highland League.
It's not the same though.
Or would they be in the Lowland League?
Lowland League. Oh no, they would be in the
Highland League, is it not?
I don't know actually.
It would be the Highland League, surely.
Yeah, you'd have thought so.
I'd think so. That's why I say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Annan 2, Albion Rovers 3. Goals everywhere around Scotland this week. A lot of goals. Another 5 goal here. Annan 2, Albion Rovers 3. I mean, they were 3-0 up. No, they weren't 3-0 up. Oh my god, what a game that was. You see when the goals flew in? Right, so Albion led the game from the 61st minute onwards. Then Annan made it 1-0 in the 84th minute. Oof. And then Albion took the lead in the 86th minute. And then you'd thought they killed the game in the 88th minute. But then Annan scored in the 89th minute.
That must be a nervy stoppage time.
Tough to watch for the fans,
Yeah, well, good job there was none of them there.
Aye, good job there was none of them there, I suppose. That's the same any week.
Yeah.
That's horrible, I'm sorry. Should
we do our teams of the week?
Wait, there's one more game.
Right, hurry up and get through it then. Jesus Christ.
Stranraer 2, Cowdenbeath 0.
We'll do our team of the weeks.
Right,
teams of the week, not team of the weeks. Christ.
Teams of the week.
Right, Premiership team of the week, Ryan Fitzsimons.
I've got to go St Johnson, mate.
Do you? Wow.
I mean, I normally would go with Rangers after an 8-0 win, but I feel happy for St Johnson after my prediction, so I'm saying St Johnson.
Yeah, I'm going Rangers.
You got Rangers.
Yeah,
people are going to see the graphic and think I've automatically just went as biased as possible to pick an 8-0 win.
St Johnson, to be fair, a good result. In terms of expectations, and like Rangers obviously expect to win the game comfortably. St Johnstone maybe not expected to win the game. So from that point of view, maybe
I'm going with St Johnstone. Championship.
Raith Rovers.
Mate, still my team, mate.
Well, I mean, they're comfortably the team of the week in the championship.
They are comfortably. Yeah.
If Alloa had been 3-1 down and got it back to 3-3, they could have been a shout, but because it was the other way around, maybe not.
League One.
Ooh, League One team.
I am going to go with the mighty Montrose, mate. I'm going for Montrose. It was Raver Cove.
Airdrie for me.
You got Airdrie?
Yeah.
Right, fair enough. Well, 5-0 win over Clyde. It's not exactly a piece of cake, obviously. And then finally, League 2. Who are you going with?
Stirling Albion.
Stirling Albion?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Steny.
Steny, good shout.
I'm going to go for Steny. I'm going to go for Steny. That's our teams of the week. Nice.
I didn't do any quick Twitter questions. This was only intended to be a quick wee show run.
We wanted because this is a big week. This is going to be a massive week for the channel.
Before Thursday, we've got 3 more videos, hopefully.
So that'll be like the first time in this channel's history we'll sat down and have a video like
one will be out early tomorrow, I hope.
Yep.
We'll do our preferred 11s for the Scotland game, which is always a good video to do. We've got a special video with a number of guests coming up. That'll be
Wednesday.
Maybe even Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
So we might have a double upload tomorrow potentially.
Oh God, it's Tuesday tomorrow.
Yeah, we might have a double upload tomorrow.
Oh, dear me.
We've never done that before.
Never done
That'll be interesting.
Wow. Our revenue, baby.
Yeah.
Wednesday will be, of course, the Scotland preview show. Thursday, the reaction show.
We might do the reaction show Friday morning.
We'll see. It depends.
It
depends. But it's been a pleasure as always, David. Any final thoughts? Sorry, there you go.
Come on, Scotland! Come on! What a week, eh? Dear me, I'm starting to get excited now. Are you getting excited? I'm going to be shitting myself come Wednesday, but at the moment,
it's because you're looking at me, mate.
Yeah, I just I'm so excited. Grant Hanley's also dropped out of the squad. That's a big loss.
Come on! Get in there! That's what I love to hear.
Just to tee up our preferred 11 videos, I think the biggest area for debate in that team is the back line, the back 3, the back 5 even, because I think there's so many positions up for grabs.
Yep.
Guys who were injured toward the tail end of the last break, guys who came in and did well. There's so many areas for there's so many areas for debate. It's going to be a good, and the thing is with Steve Clark this time round, there's good headaches to have rather than bad ones. Like he's got players who've played well and players coming back into the squad, so he's got a number of big decisions to make. I believe we can do it.
I believe we can do it, mate. I believe. Come on, get her.
There's so many great compilations of Scotland successes in the past and stuff, and even though we haven't qualified for so long, there's been so many great moments, man. I just hope that Thursday's another one.
Aye, Stevie Clark's rebaldy.
Stevie Clark's starting army. Let's do it.
Brilliant. Anyway, if you have enjoyed, make sure that like and subscribe, share the podcast out. If you're listening Spotify, hope the one mic or the camera audio, whatever we're going to do in the edit, we'll do. David's laptop should be fine for the next episode, so we'll be back to
I hope so.
Regularly scheduled programming. Enjoy. See y'all next time.